News reports this morning suggest that the president is actively considering intervening in the situation in the Middle East. I understand that we have 40,000 troops deployed in the region, many of whom are in range of Iranian missiles. And it's being reported that the president is being asked to consider providing the bunker buster bomb that is required to be carried only by the B-2 bomber and would require a U.S. pilot. That raises real concerns about what retaliation might mean for the safety and stability of the entire region and our troops and Americans who are in the region. So can you tell us, Mr. Secretary, are you considering military action that would bring us into active hostilities, and whether you expect a decision to be made on that anytime in the next few days?
Just bearing in mind, and you can stop the clock, we will be going into a classified portion of the hearing later on. But proceed, Mr. Secretary.
I understand that, Mr. Chairman, but I think this is a question that's very important for the American public to hear.
I just wanted to make it clear that there would be an opportunity to get very deep into that. Go ahead.
Senator, I agree with the chairman. Most of what I can or should say would be reserved for a classified setting. I would say the president, obviously, any decisions on this matter are at the presidential level. He has communicated very clearly for quite some time.
I do understand that, Mr. Secretary, but my question for you is whether you have been asked actively to provide options for the president regarding a strike in the Middle East.
If I had or I had not, I wouldn't disclose that in this forum, Senator. My job, our job, Chairman and I, at all times, is to make sure the president has options and is informed of what those options might be and what the ramifications of those options might be.
I appreciate that.
You mentioned
Thank
the troops in the region with maximum
expect
force protection at all times is being maintained.
I would hope that as soon as consideration about action is determined, that the public will be informed about that. 6 of us on this committee just returned from the largest air show in the world. It was very impressive to see the innovation and technology from our industry on aerospace. And one of the concerns that I heard from many of the companies that I talked to was about the potential to partner with our allies and partners for innovation, for co-production. And one concern I heard was about the proposed review of the AUKUS agreement. That's after the Australian government has already contributed $500 million to our submarine industrial base, and American and UK shipbuilders have made capital investments to support the increased demand. So do you disagree with the position that President Trump has taken about AUKUS, that we should move forward? And what is the review expected to produce?
Well, Senator, I think reviews are always prudent, but those reviews actually come after conversations I've had with the Minister of Defense, Healy, in the UK, and Marles in Australia. Long personal conversations about the status of this arrangement, both aspects of it. So we are reviewing it because that's what the Defense Department ought to do to make sure it fits the priorities of the president, and that our defense and shipbuilding industrial base can support, ensure that we're clear on all sides of that, on either pillar. And then on pillar 2, identifying specifically the ways we can work together most meaningfully to co-produce with our industrial base munitions or other capabilities that would be most applicable to the threats we face.
But do you agree that it's important to increase the capability of our nuclear deterrent in the Indo-Pacific, and that AUKUS is one way to do that?
I do, and working through AUKUS as a possible avenue for that is a good thing.
Last week, Mr. Secretary, during the SAC-D appropriations hearing, you reaffirmed the need for an exemption for the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard to your
More boxes, more options. Grainger has over 1,700 box types in stock and ready to help you pack, store, and ship everything.
question on that. And since Senator King and I hiring freeze. Senator, the need for an exemption for the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard to your hiring freeze. Senator Collins asked you a very relevant question on that. And since Senator King and I share that shipyard, I'd like to ask you again, because we have not yet heard anything from you or from the Office of Personnel Management about how they're responding to this. DOD has told us that the Office of Personnel Management needs to review every single new hire one by one at a time when we need 550 people every year just to keep up with the Navy's demand for maintenance and on its nuclear submarines. So will you commit to talking to OPM on this issue?
Yes.
Thank you, Senator Shaheen. Senator Cotton.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for your testimony, and more importantly, your service. Secretary Hegseth, the president at a press gaggle just now at the White House said of strikes against Iran, to Senator Shaheen's question, I may do it, I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. You had referred to these questions as presidential level decision, is that right? And I think that's always true. Advisors advise and presidents decide. But it's your job to have contingency plans for everything that the president may or may not decide. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And no one should be surprised or scandalized that the Pentagon has lots and lots of contingency plans.
Senator, our job is to have contingency plans.
It's like in Armageddon, Billy Bob Thornton's character Truman, speaking of NASA, could have been speaking of the Pentagon. You're geniuses. You're just thinking stuff up, and you got people in another room backing them up. Is that right?
We plan.
Thank you. And although it's true in every part of the government, it's probably no more true in your department that it's a presidential level decision. This is the president's core constitutional responsibilities as the commander-in-chief. I mean, it's important what he does with labor and HUD and the rest, but as the commander-in-chief, it's the most important role he has, and therefore you're the department where you take the most direct guidance from the president. Everyone in the department has to support the president's decisions once those decisions are made, correct?
Correct, Senator. As I've said, there's only one person that was elected president of the United States.
Yeah.
And the American people elected him to make these decisions on their behalf. And if and when those decisions are made, the department is prepared to execute.
And I know that you welcome and have robust policy debates in the department, and no doubt you have very differing views on many questions, whether it's what to do with Iran, or what kind of aircraft or ships we need to build, or what the quality of commissaries are on our bases, and that's welcome. You need that kind of robust debate to make the right recommendations. But once the president's decision has been made on any question, that's final, right? That's your standard?
The president welcomes, I've watched it in real time, views on all issues from all aspects. But yes, once those have been represented, intelligence is represented, options represented, upsides, downsides, threats, of course, when the president makes a call as the commander-in-chief, we will execute.
Well, thank you, because I know there was some controversy earlier this year inside the department, and not everyone seemed to be on the same page that you and the president are after presidential decisions had been made, and you had to make some tough decisions there. And I commend you for those decisions. I think you did the right thing. You have to make sure that everyone stays on the same page and everyone supports presidential decisions. One decision I also want to call out, since we haven't spoken about it here, and I'm not sure we will, I want to commend you for as well and commend your team, is the redesignation of base names for Army bases. In the summer of 2020, as a Jacobin fever swept the country during the BLM riots, it was decided to rename several Army bases. To be honest with you, I think most soldiers serving those bases didn't even know who they were named after. They just had fond recollections for decades of their time at Fort Benning or Fort Bragg or other places. And I think